Facts and curiosities you didn't know about Ukraine, the Granary of Europe. Ukraine, a country that often goes unnoticed in the collective imagination, has such a fascinating history, culture, and geography that you will be amazed by all that this corner of Europe has to offer. Did you know that Ukraine is known as the Granary of Europe due to its immense agricultural capacity? With vast fertile lands that feed millions of people around the world, Ukraine is a major producer of grain, sunflower, and other essential crops. But that's only part of its wealth. This country has much more to offer: an ancient cultural heritage, traditions that have endured through the centuries, delicious cuisine, and, of course, a history full of ups and downs that has forged the character of its people. From deep roots of folk music and dance, to medieval castles and mysterious subway tunnels, Ukraine is a place that will take your breath away. And now I ask you, did you know that the famous borscht, that delicious beet soup we all know, is actually a recipe originating from Ukraine? Can you imagine how many secrets this country hides beyond its agricultural nickname? Don't miss out. In this tour, we'll explore some of the most curious and surprising facts about Ukraine that you've probably never heard before. But before we go on, I want to know: did you know any of these curiosities about Ukraine? Leave us your answer in the comments. And, of course, would you like to know more about the incredible history of this fascinating country? Keep watching this video to find out more. The breadbasket of Europe, a fertile land. Ukraine is famous for its vast expanse of agricultural land, covering more than a third of its total area. This land is located in a region known as the Ukrainian steppe, a vast plain that offers ideal conditions for cultivation. It is not surprising that the country has for centuries been one of the main grain suppliers in Europe and the world. Wheat, corn, barley, and sunflower are sown in abundance, and their exports feed millions of people around the globe. However, beyond the golden wheat fields, Ukraine is also known for its cultivation of sugar beets, potatoes, and an incredible variety of fruits and vegetables. In certain regions, tomato and grape production is so significant that some areas resemble small versions of the Mediterranean, with vineyards offering internationally recognized wine quality. But what really sets Ukraine apart from many other agricultural countries is its soil, which ranks among the most fertile on the planet. Ukraine's soils, known as chernozem, are rich in organic matter and nutrients, giving them a production capacity that few other nations can match. This black gold beneath Ukraine's soil has been one of the main reasons for its agricultural success over the centuries. In fact, Ukraine has earned the title of breadbasket of Europe by being a major producer and exporter of grain, and a key player in the world's food supply. More than a cereal supplier, the diversity of its agricultural production. While wheat and corn are Ukraine's best-known crops, the country has a surprising variety of agricultural products grown on its land. The Dnieper River region is famous for its apple orchards, while the western mountains are home to potato and vegetable crops on rich, well-drained soils. Cherries and apricots are also among the most widely grown crops in the southern areas of the country. The oilseed industry is another key sector of Ukrainian agriculture, excelling especially in sunflower seed production. Ukraine is not only one of the world's largest producers of sunflower oil, but also a leading exporter of this commodity, supplying markets in Asia, Europe, and America with its high-quality oil. In terms of sunflower production, Ukraine competes in first place with countries such as Argentina and Russia. However, Ukraine's agricultural sector is not only marked by mass production. The country also has a rich tradition of organic farming and sustainable agricultural methods, especially in the mountainous western regions. Here, farmers continue to use age-old practices, growing high-quality produce while preserving biodiversity and the integrity of the natural environment. Ukraine's history and cultural heritage, a mix of influences. Ukraine is not just an agricultural country. Its history and culture reflect a rich mix of European and Asian influences, as well as its own indigenous traditions. The territory of Ukraine has been, over the centuries, a crossroads for civilizations, and its culture reflects traces of these encounters. From the ancient Scythian tribes and the Cumans to the empires that dominated the region, such as the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Russian Empire, Ukraine has been a point of convergence of diverse cultures, languages, and religions. The Ukrainian heritage is profoundly European, but at the same time has a character of its own that is reflected in its traditions, folklore, and architecture. The wooden churches of the western regions, with their pointed roofs and rustic beauty, are an example of the fusion of Slavic and European. Cities such as Lviv in the west are steeped in Polish and Austro-Hungarian history, while Kiev, the capital, has always been a major cultural and political center in Eastern Europe. War, politics, and Ukraine's future. The conflict in eastern Ukraine and the Russian invasion have put the country in the international spotlight, but beyond the headlines, Ukraine remains a nation with a future full of potential. Despite the political and social difficulties it faces, the country remains one of the leading economies in Eastern Europe, with rapidly growing industrial and technological sectors. Ukraine is also a major center of innovation in the field of information technology, with cities such as Kiev and Lviv emerging as development hubs for technology startups. Agriculture remains the mainstay of its economy, but the country has made significant steps towards economic diversification in recent years, investing in education, infrastructure, and the digital sector. Fun facts you didn't know about Ukraine. Borscht soup. Although often associated with Russia, borscht is a traditional Ukrainian soup that has centuries of history. It is made primarily with beets and is served hot or cold, with a touch of sour cream. This soup is so important in Ukrainian culture that many families have their own secret recipe. Ukraine has one of the strangest amusement parks in the world. In the city of Pripyat, near the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, there is an amusement park that never opened. The park was built in 1986, but the Chernobyl disaster forced the evacuation of the city just before its opening. Today, the park is a tourist attraction, visited by those seeking to explore the exclusion zone area. The country with the highest number of people with blue eyes. If you've ever dreamed of finding someone with blue eyes, Ukraine is a good place to do it. According to genetic studies, Ukraine has one of the highest proportions of blue-eyed people in the world, reflecting the country's complex genetic history, which has been shaped by its strategic location in Europe. The subway city of Odessa, the city of Odessa, on the Black Sea coast, has one of the largest subway networks in the world, dating back to the World War II era. In total, there are more than 2,500 kilometers of subway tunnels connecting different parts of the city, which were once used as air raid shelters. The national anthem has one of the oldest melodies. Ukraine's anthem, known as the Freedom March, has one of the oldest melodies among national anthems, with its original composition dating back to the 19th century. The lyrics, however, have been adapted several times, reflecting the times of change and struggle for independence. Ukraine is a country with a cultural identity deeply rooted in its history, with traditions that have endured over the centuries and an enormous richness in its customs, music, art, and cuisine. Ukrainian culture, a treasury of traditions. Ukrainian folklore, beyond music and dance. Ukrainian folklore is an essential aspect of national identity and is steeped in elements that reflect its people's connection to the land and nature. Folk songs, known as Duma and Kaliatki, are a fundamental part of the oral traditions. These songs tell stories of heroes, loves, and battles, and are performed on occasions of traditional celebrations such as weddings, festivals, and the change of seasons. One of the most emblematic forms of Ukrainian folklore is the hopik, a traditional dance characterized by fast movements, jumps, and acrobatic turns. The hopik is one of the best-known dances in Ukraine and reflects the energy and independent spirit of the Ukrainian people. In fact, hopik was originally a dance of the Cossacks, a warrior community that played a crucial role in the country's history. The role of women in Ukrainian culture. The female figure plays a crucial role in Ukrainian culture and tradition, especially as it relates to agricultural work, domestic customs, and celebrations. Ukrainian women are known for their skill in the art of weaving, embroidery, and lace making, which allows them to create intricate designs on clothing and textiles, including the famous vyshyvanka, embroidered shirts. The embroidery on these garments has deep symbolism and is considered a protection and good luck charm. In many regions of Ukraine, women also play an important role in the festivities. For example, during Kupala night, a holiday celebrating the summer solstice, young women perform rituals of purification and union with nature, jumping over bonfires and picking wild flowers. Ukrainian food, a feast for the senses. Ukrainian cuisine is as diverse and rich as its culture. One dish that stands out and is associated with national identity is borscht. This soup, which can be prepared with beets, cabbage, meat, carrots, and potatoes, is traditionally served with a dollop of sour cream. Although borscht has variants in other Slavic countries, the Ukrainian version is especially beloved, with each region of the country having its own recipe. Another popular dish is vareniki, also known in some places as pierogi, a kind of stuffed dumpling, which can contain potatoes, cottage cheese, mushrooms, meat, or even fruit, such as cherries. Vareniki are one of the most common foods at Ukrainian celebrations and are often served in large quantities at family gatherings or parties. In the western region of Ukraine, holubtsy, or cabbage rolls stuffed with meat and rice, is another essential dish. They are prepared with a tomato-based sauce and are perfect for large family celebrations, such as Christmas or New Year's Eve. As for drinks, horilka is the traditional Ukrainian liqueur, similar to vodka, but with a characteristic touch, such as herbs or honey, depending on the region. Often, horilka is consumed as part of toasts at celebrations and social events. Ukrainian religion and spiritual traditions. Religion plays a fundamental role in the lives of many Ukrainians. Most Ukrainians are Orthodox Christians, and the Ukrainian Orthodox Church has a profound influence on customs and festivities. In addition, the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, which has a particular tradition of rites and liturgies, is also very important, especially in the west of the country. Ukraine has a rich tradition of religious holidays. One of the most important events is Christmas, celebrated on January 7th according to the Julian calendar. Christmas Eve is a special time for families, which traditionally celebrate with a 12-course dinner, symbolizing the 12 apostles. The most important dish on the table is kutia, a mixture of wheat with honey, nuts, and poppy seeds. Another important holiday is Easter, when families gather to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. During this time, people paint Easter eggs, known as pisanki, using a hot wax technique that has been passed down through generations. These eggs not only have great religious significance, but are also an artistic expression, with patterns and symbols that vary from region to region. Ukrainian architecture, churches, castles, and more. Ukraine's architecture is among the most impressive in Eastern Europe. In cities such as Kiev, Lviv, and Chernivtsi, you can find examples of an impressive mix of architectural styles, from Baroque and Renaissance to neoclassicism and modernism. Ukrainian Orthodox churches are particularly beautiful, with their gilded domes and intricate frescoes adorning their interiors. St. Sophia Cathedral in Kiev, built in the 11th century, is an outstanding example of the religious art and architecture of the period. This site is so significant that it has been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In western Ukraine, the Austro-Hungarian influence is reflected in the architecture of many cities such as Lviv and Chernivtsi, where Renaissance and Baroque-style buildings are adorned with intricate architectural details. Medieval castles are also part of Ukraine's legacy, such as the famous Kamianets-Podilskyi Castle, which stands on a cliff and is considered one of the most impressive castles in Eastern Europe. Unexpected curiosities about Ukraine. The country with the most spoken languages in Europe, Ukraine is home to great linguistic diversity. Although Ukrainian is the official language, numerous minority languages are spoken, including Russian, Crimean Tatar, Polish, Hungarian, and Romanian. This diversity reflects the country's complex history, marked by invasions and changes of empires. The Ukrainian sky. In certain areas of Ukraine, especially in the west, the sky is believed to be bluer and clearer than elsewhere in Europe, earning it the nickname Ukrainian sky. This phenomenon is due to the atmospheric conditions in the region, which allow for incredibly clear skies. The largest number of subway islands in the world. In Ukraine, there are thousands of kilometers of subway tunnels, many of them in the cities of Odessa and Kiev. Some of these tunnels were built during World War II, others were used as salt mines, and many are open to the public as tourist tours. The country with the deepest metro in the world, the Kyiv Metro, is famous not only for its efficiency, but also because it has the deepest station in the world, Arsenalna. This station is 105.5 meters underground, and the depth is due to the geography of the city, which is built on hills and valleys. Ukraine is much more than a country with a rich agricultural history. From its deeply rooted cultural traditions to its surprising curiosities, every corner of this country leaves us with a lesson in resilience, creativity, and passion for life. Without a doubt, Ukraine is a fascinating place that deserves to be explored in its entirety. If you have been surprised by everything you have learned about Ukraine, imagine all that we still have to discover. Don't forget to subscribe to our Evolving World channel to keep exploring the secrets, curiosities, and amazing facts about different cultures, countries, and fascinating topics that are changing the world. Every week we bring unique content that will make you see the world with new eyes. And if you want to take your knowledge even further and learn how to create a prosperous future full of opportunities, visit our website at selfmatamillionaires.online. There you'll find exclusive resources, practical tips, and self-taught learning strategies that will help you evolve into your best self. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. We look forward to seeing you in the following video and on our website. Don't miss it.